Monday's USDA Crop Progress Report indicated only 7% of the corn had been planted in Illinois, compared to 50% at this time last year. And you'll hear next week in our report from the farm even more on that.
WCI3's ag reporter Stu Ellis will tell you how that low percent will change in a big way in this morning's report from the farm.
After one of the coldest, wettest Aprils on record, Nutrien's Eric Snodgrass says that'll reverse beginning next week.
After we get past this weekend, the pattern opens up to a big ridge. It's so funny to think that by early next week, we're going to be talking about temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, and with that, some drier weather coming in. I have a feeling we're going to move very, very quickly with planting, just starting as soon as early next week. So we're going to make up for some lost time, but just remember, that means this whole crop's going to go in a tight window, which means it's all going to go through all the crop stages of the tight windows, which means it's all going to be vulnerable at the same time. So it's going to open up, but it's one of those things where it kind of keeps the crop still in a kind of vulnerable stage moving through the growing season. And that's what happens when you lose about 4 weeks, right? I mean, we would have loved to have been planting about 4 weeks ago, right as soon as we could there in April, and unfortunately just too wet. So, yep, it's going to be a really compressed season. The good news is, in this part of the world, we'll get enough GDUs by the time we get to our first frost date to not worry about the crop getting hit, but it's going to be something I think folks to the north of us might be considering to be a source of risk this year.
What has caused all this delay? Is this still La Nina?
La Nina is a part of it. It also helped that the Pacific jet just really gained a lot of momentum, which means it's just moving fast in March and April. And the result of that, plus a little bit of what we call high latitude blocking, just pushed that jet stream south. And remember, that jet stream just sits on the boundary of wherever the cold air is to the north and warm air is to the south. So it got stuck there. We kept putting snow in the Dakotas, which helped to keep the cold air in place. Stayed hot in southern Texas to California, which kept the heat down there. The jet stream ran in between. We got stuck underneath it. I think what we're going to see is once we break the pattern, we're going to actually go over into a summer that we're going to see normal temperatures, maybe even warmer than normal temperatures at time this year. So I would actually expect us to make up for some lost time as we start to gain heat through the rest of May and then into June and July. But we all still kind of sit here and worry about the risk of this summer, because you mentioned La Nina. The La Nina through spring has really maintained strength. It poses a risk for this upcoming summer of us having issues with not enough precipitation.
More on that next time. For now, that's our report from the farm. I'm Stu Ellis with WCIA 3, your local news leader.